All right, guys, this is day 2 of our seasons craft that we started yesterday. So just to recap, yesterday we split our paper into 4 equal parts and we labeled each of the seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall. Then we drew a tree trunk and tree branches in each of the sections and then painted or colored it. So your paper should look a little bit like mine at this point. If you don't have paint at home, like I've said before, that is okay. You can use whatever you have. And so in this video today, while we're adding our details to it, I'm going to use the different supplies that I have around my house. If you don't have these supplies, that is okay. Try and look for something that's the same color that you could use, or you could just use your crayons. So let's start off with winter. We know that in winter, the leaves fall off of the trees. So we're not going to be drawing some big green leaves on these trees. Instead, we're going to think about the weather in the winter. It's really cold and sometimes it snows. So we're going to be putting snow all over this tree. So I am using this right here to put snow on my tree. If you have any cotton balls at your house, you can take a cotton ball and just kind of separate it like I'm doing right now. And once you've done that, it kind of looks like snow. So I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm going to kind of cover the top part of that tree in this glue so that it's nice and sticky, because it's not going to work very well if you try and put the glue straight on to the snow that we're making. So put the glue on the paper, add a good amount so it's nice and sticky, and then you can slowly start sticking on little pieces of the cotton ball snow. Now, if you don't have cotton balls at home, you could use white paint, you could use white paper, anything to make this tree look like it has snow on it. So there it is. My winter tree is covered in snow. We're going to keep going. Let's go ahead. Since I already have my glue out, I'm going to go ahead and do the tree for fall. For fall, we know that leaves change colors. They turn red and orange and yellow and brown. So I have cut up some pieces of felt so that it looks like they're little leaves and they're red and orange and light brown. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing that I did with this tree, and I'm just going to cover it in glue because it's not very easy to put glue onto felt. And once I've covered that tree in glue, I'm going to start taking the little leaves that I've made and start gluing them all over my tree. And yours doesn't have to look exactly like mine. If you don't have pieces of felt at home, that is totally fine. This is just something random that I found in my closet. If you have paper that's different colors, you could use that. If you have different colored crayons, you can use that. You can use anything that you have at home. So I'm just going to put my little leaves all over my tree until it is covered. So I'm taking my time, not rushing, making sure that the leaves cover the tree. And it's very sticky, so I'm getting some glue over my hands, but that is okay. All right, let's get some orange leaves on there. Another red leaf. Some of the beige leaves over here, and orange. And I'm just taking my time. It doesn't have to look perfect, but we're just going to show how the trees change over time. All right, I'm almost done. I'm going to add a few more pieces to my tree. And since we all have different materials at our houses, I'm so excited to see how these trees turn out, because nobody's tree is going to look exactly the same. Everybody's tree is going to look different. So that's really exciting. So there's my tree for the fall. I've covered it in different colored leaves. And like I said before, you can use whatever materials you have at home to show that the leaves change color. Next, I'm going to do my summer tree. And for my summer tree, I'm just going to use a green crayon because everybody has crayons and they are so awesome to color with. So I'm just going to add lots and lots of leaves. And you can do your leaves any way that you want. And I'm just going to add my leaves all over my tree to show that in the summer, the trees are full of green leaves. And right now, if you look outside your window, I bet your leaves outside of your house are covered in lots and lots of green because we're getting pretty close to the summer and the temperatures have gotten really warm. So I've put green leaves all over that tree. My last tree is going to be my spring tree. In the spring, the leaves are turning green, but there's also lots of flowers and lots of flowers that are growing in the trees. So I have a piece of paper that I have painted green and red. And what I'm going to be doing with that piece of paper is I'm going to be ripping up the pieces and then gluing those pieces down. So I'll show you those pieces of paper. Here's my green piece of paper. Here's my red piece of paper. If you don't have green or red paper, you can either color it and then break it apart like I'm doing, or you can paint it, anything that you have at your house that's green and red or pink or whatever. So for the green pieces, let me put my glue all over my tree like I did before. It's covered in glue, and I'm going to start ripping it apart. So just ripping up small pieces, sticking them onto the tree. And now these pieces don't have to be perfect. We do want to make sure that when we rip the piece, it's not a huge piece that covers the whole tree. We want it to be kind of smaller pieces so that we can spread them out all over the tree. So I'm adding lots and lots of green pieces until I run out. All right, I've run out of green pieces, but I still have my red piece of paper that I'm gonna rip apart, and that's gonna be like the flowers that grow on the trees. So I'm just gonna, on top of the green pieces, put a little bit of glue so that the red is able to stick on top of it. And I'm going to rip apart teeny tiny little pieces of paper just like that. And those are gonna be my flowers on the tree. If you have scissors at home, you could use those to cut these pieces apart and make them even more like small and perfect. But I'm choosing not to use scissors, and that is totally fine. Just making it look like whatever I want to look like. All right, I'm gonna do one more piece right here in the middle. And bam, I have made trees for each season. So real quick, let's go over each of the seasons and talk about how trees change over time. In the winter, the leaves are off of the tree. They've all fallen off, and it might snow, so you might see snow in the trees. And then in the spring, the leaves grow back, and some flowers might even grow. In the summer, the trees are nice and healthy. They are turning really, really green and full of leaves. And then in the fall, when it gets a little bit colder, the leaves start changing color and they start falling down. So that is what our trees look like throughout the year. I can't wait to see the pictures that you make. Make sure you upload them to Seesaw so that I can see them.